Hey guys, welcome. This is just me answering a couple of questions from the previous week on my video where I tell you everything you need to get started. Okay, so the first question's from Jennifer, and that's, is a soft gig case fine? They're cheaper and it would be nice to drive out to a park, some are still open, and play out in the fresh air. Seems easier to carry your gear too. Well, Jennifer, that's a great question, and I would be happy to answer it for you. For what you're doing, just trying to transport the guitar short distances, it's fine. That's pretty much all soft cases are good for, really, because they don't keep the moisture in the case like the hard case can, and it also won't protect the guitar like a hard case can. I've seen some guitars get really trashed being in soft cases, especially when you move them from point A to point B. But if you're careful, and if you just want something basic to protect your guitar while you're going to the park, it's fine. I really don't recommend a case for your very first guitar because that guitar should be your sacrificial lamb. It always belongs on a stand and it should always be out in the open so you can play it. And like I said in the last video, that's how you learn your chords. You have your guitar out in the open on a stand, and whenever you can, you pick it up, you practice a little bit just for a couple minutes if you can, put it down, come back to it later. The fact that that guitar is going to be on a stand is going to force you to learn those chords. And your first guitar will get beat up a ton. That's why I don't recommend spending $3,000 on a guitar when you're just starting out. Spend just a couple $100. And also, if you get a soft case and you spend $20, that's probably the most I'd spend on a soft case. You got to get a deal on one. 20, maybe $40, but don't spend $70 on a soft case. If you're going to spend $70 on a soft case, just go to a hard case for 70, 80, 90, $100. The hard case will protect your guitar from the elements. Jennifer also asked, can acoustic guitars be decorated on the front body? I tend to personalize stuff. What effect, if any, would a sticker, tape, acrylic, or oil paint, or ink have on the sound? So honestly, it's your guitar. You can do whatever you like with it. The only thing I wouldn't draw on or put a sticker on or mess with really is the fretboard, because obviously that's going to affect the way that the strings come down on the frets. But aside from that, if it's on the body, don't worry about it, especially if it's your starter guitar. Your guitar is an expression of you as a musician, so do what you want. It's your guitar. Me personally, I've never, I've painted a couple really low-end guitars that I've had in the past, but me, honestly, I would feel too guilty putting stickers on a really nice Martin or Taylor. It's kind of like putting a bumper sticker on a Ferrari, I don't know. I wouldn't do it, so that's me. Okay, 2 more questions. No one will be using this but me, but how does one clean it? And with what cleaning product or tool? The number one thing to remember is you always want to have clean hands and wash your hands before you play your guitar. In terms of getting dirty, my guitars really don't get dirty, they get dusty. And when they get dust, I just take a microfiber towel and I just kind of wipe the dust off. Now I do, the guitar does, sometimes the wood in the guitar can absorb some of the oils from your arm or even your fingers. There's actually a really good polish that I like using, which I'll put a link in the description that you can buy, and you can just spray a little bit on the microfiber towel and just slowly buff the guitar, and some of that will come out. But I really don't get too crazy with cleaning the guitar. I just make sure that I have them in clean environments. Be careful with alcohol-based cleaners. Anything with a bunch of chemicals, you really don't want to put those chemicals on your guitar because it'll ruin the wood. And the last question from Jennifer, strings. Should you have more than one extra set? Is there a difference between brands? Do you need strings made by the same manufacturer of your guitar, or is that irrelevant? Are some brands better for beginners than others? This is awesome. So a lot of the quality in your sound and how your guitar sounds is from the strings. The string that I recommend, and I'll put that also in the link in the description, elixirs. Elixir strings are awesome. I've always used them. They last way longer than anything else I've used. I'm a huge fan of Elixir guitar strings. Another thing to remember, be sure to remember what size the strings you have on your guitar right now are. And what you can do is you can keep the box that the strings came in your guitar case, or keep it in your room. Always know the size of the strings that you have on your guitar. And the reason for this is because you can't go to a really thick string and then a really light string and then a medium string and then a thick string. You can't jump around like that because the guitar is under tension. And every time you change the thickness of your strings, you have to have your guitar tuned by either a truss rod adjustment, or there might be something that the guitar tech down at the guitar shop has to do in order to make your guitar compatible with those strings. Thicker strings have more tension. Lighter strings have less tension. So it just makes sense that you would have to make some adjustments to cater to the thicker strings or to cater to the lighter strings on your guitar. And no, you really don't need the same manufacturer strings as your guitar. Like I said, Elixirs are awesome. They're worth every penny. They are a little bit more expensive, but I guarantee you it's way better to have a strong string on your guitar and not worry about it for 6 months than to have a really cheap string and it snaps, within 2 weeks of playing with it. So Elixir guitar strings are the way to go. I highly, highly, highly recommend Elixir strings. Couple comments in here. Ed says his favorite accessory is his Roadie 2 tuner. That's pretty cool, Ed. I gotta check that out. I've always been a fan of Snarks, but as you'll kind of find out, I'm picky. When I like one brand, it's hard for me to go back to anything else until somebody turns me onto something new, and this is great. Just like Ed might in the comments, so I might check one of those out. Tony the Tuna Fish, awesome name, Tony. He says the 2 things that changed his life were a guitar setup with very low action. You will stop playing if your fingers hurt. Will cost around $100 and is the best money you can spend. I absolutely agree with you. Finding a good guitar repairman in your area is also it's worth its weight in gold. So keep your eyes out and talk around to your fellow musicians and see if you can find a good guitar guy. And then also light guitar strings, Tony says. Same reason, don't worry about the difference in sound between thicknesses, they all sound great. And he finishes that with saying, new strings will entice you to play more. I absolutely agree. Nothing sounds better than the first time you strum a chord on a guitar with brand new strings. Alright, so that's it for this week. If you guys have any questions or you have any feedback or input, leave me a comment right now. I would love to hear from you. Let me know what you want me to go over in these lessons. I want to keep this interactive, and teaching you guys how to play guitar keeps me going, so I really appreciate it. And keep watching, and most of all, guys, keep rocking. I'll see you on the next guitar lesson. Thanks.